Good morning. Thanks for joining us here on Shop South Mississippi with Jody Entrekin of Entrekin Insurance. How are you?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
I'm doing well. I'm James C. with Classic Collision. How are you?
Nice to see you.
Good to see you. So when we were here last, we were kind of introducing Jody and Entrekin Insurance and kind of the why, why you do what you do, and how long you've been doing it, and you're a trusted name in the industry. But today we're talking about, we're going to focus on insurance. Shocker, right?
Yes, sir.
But a lot of folks will buy their insurance online because it's easy, it's fast, especially if they're buying a brand new car. They have to have insurance before they drive off the lot. It's easy, it's done. I've got insurance, let's go.
Yes, sir.
But many times they don't have what they need to be completely covered, and that's why we were here at Classic Collision. Because James, you were telling me you see this all the time.
We do, sadly. We get people that, everybody, in this economy, everybody's trying to save money, or they need something quick. So they get online and they buy stuff, and they don't have a trusted agent to guide them onto what coverages they need and the importance of these coverages, and sometimes when they come here, they don't have coverages that they need at that time. And at that point, it's too late.
And I imagine, Jody, the easy fix is to use a trusted agent.
Yes, just call an agent. Everyone has a guy for something, right? So use that guy. The last thing I'm going to try to do is repair my vehicle. I'm calling James. That's what I'm going to do. He's my guy. When it comes to insurance, use a guy. That's not your profession. It's cheaper's not always better. Remember, cheaper can cost you more in the long run.
So what is it? So whenever I guess the answer is, why do we want to use, it seems like the obvious answer, but why do we want to call an agent that is in person that we can talk to about this?
James has a perfect example here ready for us to see, of why that is so important. If James, if you wouldn't mind showing that example for us, that would be great.
We could show an example here of a vehicle that came in and was here for a separate loss. And while it was here, a customer wanted to repair an additional loss that had happened sometime before. And when they got here, they realized that they didn't have the appropriate coverage that they needed to cover that loss. And we see that often. And I recommend to people, whoever your agent is, find you somebody that you trust, somebody that you can pick up the phone, you can call them, because they deal with this every day. And the average consumer isn't savvy about insurance. They don't know what they need. And that's why I always, tell them to call a trusted agent, because they'll get in a position like this where you have a roughly $3,000 claim and there's no coverage for it.
Well, I think that kind of lends itself to, they're coming to you because they don't understand how to repair the vehicle.
Correct.
But it's gotten so easy online, it helps us to understand how to get our own insurance. But as you mentioned before you started on camera, those systems and those algorithms are built to get you online, signed up, paid for, with a policy in your hand, out the door as quick as you can.
As cost effective as possible, which is what people are looking for, but that doesn't always mean you have the right coverage or the proper coverage.
You're right. I was going to say that might be good for one person, but every single situation, even if it just varies slightly, could change the entire policy that you need.
Correct.
And we've talked before about folks who are, maybe you use your car just to commute back and forth to work, but like maybe on the side as a little hustle, you might use it to DoorDash,
Right.
or you might use it to deliver groceries or things of that nature. Maybe not rideshare, but you're picking up groceries for somebody and taking them to So just that one small little piece changes everything about your policy.
Absolutely.
And you wouldn't know that, because I know there's a little button on it when you sign up for insurance, do you ride share? And you can click yes or no. Yes. It's easy to just not click it because it ends up being cheaper, or maybe it doesn't. I don't know. I haven't clicked that button. So it's better to meet with an actual licensed agent in an office so that you can explain your entire story, so that you know the kind of coverage that individual needs. You know what you need. The computer's not going to know what you need, right? Is that what we're getting at?
I mean, it's the same thing. You want to have your guy, someone that you can trust. You want to contact an agent who can help guide you. Just like I want to go to Classic Collision, if I have any repair needs. They're the professionals. I'm not at that. When it comes to insurance, stick with an insurance professional, because that's what we do. And it's very, very important. And remember, insurance is only important one time. It's when you need it. By the time you need it, if you don't already have it, it's too late.
And we spoke before, prior on another, during our expert alert, we spoke about, you actually are licensed to sell for some of these larger companies that sell insurance online.
Yeah.
And you sometimes get a little bit better deal.
Oh, all the time we get a better deal. More often you get a better deal going to an agent than you would if you just do it online yourself. Because you'll definitely have the correct and proper coverage that you need. Not saying that you won't if you do it online, but the chances are much lower for you to have what you really need. Because our focus is real simple, is to make sure that you do have the proper protection and coverage in that time of need. The last thing that you want, just like that example which James spoke about, is bring your vehicle, into a repair facility, and then for them to tell you, sorry, you have to pay for this yourself out of pocket. That's not why we have insurance. We have insurance so they foot the bill. That's the truth of the matter.
James, I'm looking at your wall of fame back here. This is proof that you've been doing this for a minute.
Right.
And you've been recognized by some of the industry leaders for the work that you do. How frequently do you have people come in that are, I guess the politically correct way to put it is up the creek because they don't have the coverage they need to get the repairs made?
Almost on a daily basis.
Wow, a daily basis.
The thing that we see the most is people don't have rental coverage and they don't have an additional vehicle, and then a rental car can cost you upwards of $50 to $60 a day. Uninsured motorist is another big one that we see, and 31% of Mississippians are uninsured. So we see uninsured motorist claims every day. So even if you have collision, you could use that, but you'd prefer to have an uninsured motorist claim, especially if the accident was no fault of your own. And it can make a big difference in your deductible, because if you've chosen high deductibles on collision, the state deductible in Mississippi for uninsured is $200. So let's say that you chose a $1,000 deductible for collision because you don't plan on getting into a collision. Like I have $1,000 deductibles. Whereas if I needed uninsured motorist, it would only cost me $200. It would allot me rental coverage.
Yeah.
And God forbid, but if somebody was injured, it'd allot me an injury claim, where you might not have that, with the collision coverage.
It's shocking when you say that, when that statistic, 31% of the people in Mississippi are not insured, and it's the law.
Correct.
Yet still, a third of the people that live in this state are skirting through the system somehow.
Yes.
But when they're looking for ways they can save money, not having car insurance doesn't mean that your water's cut off or your power's cut off. And that's often, that's more important to people.
But I'll tell you, when something happens and you're in an accident, not having insurance could mean that your water gets cut off, your power gets cut off. You can lose a lot more than just your car if you're not insured and there's damage to your vehicle, someone else's vehicle. I was in an accident. They didn't have insurance. Thankfully, I had an uninsured motorist, and it was a huge thing. My car wasn't totaled, but it would have taken so much money to fix it that they totaled it. So now I'm in the market for a new car. So the things can just kind of trickle out of control. It's better to budget for that insurance so that it's there when you need it. Talk to a licensed agent. You see his number there at the bottom of your screen. You see his website. Give him a call so that you're not visiting James saying, I don't have the coverage I need. Jody, thanks for being here. Jim, appreciate your expertise.
Thank you. Till next time.